if you work in a boutique, if somebody has done this to you, if somebody has brazenly walked in with quite clearly a fake, and they bought the real thing the week before, and they're trying to kid you that their fake they've brought in, they want their money back on, please let me know. Please contact me. And you know, the thing is, I don't want to do this video to cause alarm. It's more because if you're into luxury, this could very well be something that affects you. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today is Sunday, and I'd already filmed a video for today, and I was editing it earlier, and honestly, I thought to myself, I thought the better of putting it live, because I thought I could get in trouble for this. So what the video was about is I was talking about 3 really big retailers who are not at all known for luxury, who have recently got into selling pre-loved luxury. And you know, it's quite surprising actually. Some of these companies, you'd be like, really? They're selling Chanel? But they are. And I found this fascinating, and the video was about, you know, how great this is. But then the more digging I did online, the more people I was coming up against who were saying, I bought a bag from this company, it was fake. And I was thinking, oh my God. So then I started talking about that in the video. And then when I was editing, I thought, I could get in trouble for this, so I'm not going to put this video live. But the thing I will say is that those companies are very reputable. They're household names. Do I believe they're selling fakes? No. I think if they are, something's happening that I'm going to come on to. And because I'm not naming them, I can say this. There is something I think that is going on that's causing them to have fake stock. And I don't think it's a major thing. I think it's very minor. I think it probably makes up for like 1 or 2% of their bag sales, but this is what I think's happening. And yeah, they're decent brands, so I'm not going to cuss them because I have no reason to. I'm actually customers of all of them, so yes, that's why we're redoing this video, but omitting any names. So as I mentioned, I was online doing a bit of digging, and I came across a very interesting thread on a forum talking about this particular company, or talking about two of the 3 companies, explaining how it is that they end up with fakes. And they've written, this is what happens. Company A and Company B stock legitimate designer bags and other items at a cheap price. However, con artists come in, buy the bag, then return it a few days later, but hand over a fake instead. The problem is, because the staff don't know how to spot a fake, they accept the return and the bag goes back into rotation. That's, I think, what's happening. I think this is all to do with return fraud, and we're going to talk about return fraud in 1 second and how you can protect yourself against it. And the 3 types of return fraud that are most likely to affect those of us watching, or, you know, even me, I've kind of been there and done it. So here is an example of somebody who inadvertently ended up buying a fake. I purchased a Gucci Kelly bag at insert name of brand a year ago. I paid over $400 for the bag and the metal closure just broke. I took it into a Gucci store to get it repaired, and I found out that it was a fake. I was shocked and embarrassed to find out that I had bought a fake Gucci bag from insert name of brand. I thought that the brand is a reputable store and selling a fake is illegal. Does anyone have any experience or has bought a fake from this company before? Please let me know. Again, that's me. I don't believe, there is no way that company in question is selling fakes. I think what's happening is what that first person said, which is that you're dealing with retailers where luxury is a second thing that they do. It's not their primary focus. If I walked in with a washing machine, they're more likely to know whether that's the real thing or not than if I walked in with a Louis Vuitton bag, because they sell more washing machines than they do Louis Vuitton bags. Just to give you an example, I don't know whether they sell washing machines. I think they do. But if you have an unsuspecting person on the front desk dealing with returns they don't know what they're looking at, and they've got a queue of customers and everyone wants help, what are you going to do? You're going to try and process that return as quickly as possible. And I would imagine to a person who doesn't know what they're looking at, as long as the bag looks okay and isn't broken in any way, they're probably going to do the return. So that's the first type. And would it put me off buying from these stores? Actually, no, it wouldn't, because I would imagine that the number of people brazen enough to do that, although those people are definitely out there, I would imagine it's not in the hundreds. I would imagine it probably makes up for like 2% of people that buy stuff actually go and do that, because you've got to know where you're looking to go and buy a fake dupe. You've got to know what you're doing to do that. And so I would imagine that the number of people that can be bothered isn't that great, but I would love to know. And also for any salespeople watching, for any sales associates watching, if you work in a boutique, if somebody has done this to you, if somebody has brazenly walked in with quite clearly a fake, and they bought the real thing the week before, and they're trying to kid you that their fake they've brought in, they want their money back on, please let me know. Please contact me, or please leave a comment in the description below, because I would love to know what you do in that situation. Do you call the police? Because it's fraud, you know, what do you do in that situation? Please let me know. The next type of refund fraud is, and it's another low one, they're all low to be honest, but the next type of fraud is when you buy something for an event, you wear it, and then you return it. I've seen this happen with everything from, like, a friend of mine's got a hair extension business, and the amount of hair extensions she gets returned to her, and they've got like chewing gum in them, hairspray, glitter, and people are like, I never wore it, I just need a refund. And she gets them back and she's like, you've not just worn these, you've really worn these. But she gives them the money back, because what else can you do? She's in a situation. But this is where somebody buys something, uses it, and never intends on keeping it. And I think it probably happens mainly with dresses, I would imagine, where you've got an event coming up, you need a dress, you know you're probably never going to wear that dress again, so you buy it and you decide you're going to try and swindle like a refund from it after. I actually have a now funny story that wasn't so funny at the time. It was 2018, I had a brand event that I was going to with like this luxury brand, and I was so excited to have been invited. And I bought a dress to wear to it, and it was like a gown, to the floor gown. It was like all beaded, it was gorgeous. And when it turned up, I opened the package and it smelt like cigarettes, alcohol and BO. Not really, but it didn't smell fresh. It smelled like somebody had worn it on a night out, and it just stank. Like, and the BO was strong. That was a strong thing. And I opened the package and I could smell it. And I was like, oh, get it out of the house. It's disgusting. And then I felt stressed, because I thought two things. First of all, the event was the day after, so I ended up with no dress to wear to it. I had cobbled something together, which was annoying. But the other thing was, I thought, how am I going to return this to the company and them not think I'm the one who's done it? So I just got in touch straight away. The minute that parcel was delivered, I contacted the company and I was like, you can see a timestamp that the courier has just been. This is me telling you right now that this dress is damaged and it smells, and I want my money back. And that was the only thing that saved me, because they could well have blamed me for that after. So it has happened to me before. It's a bit gross actually, when people do that. I mean, each to their own, but it's not fun if you're the person that ends up being sent it. And then the final type of fraud, which is another one which really drives me mad, and it is chargeback fraud. And we're going to go into how you can protect yourself from all of this in a minute, but chargeback fraud is basically when you've sold something, the courier has even put up a picture of him handing it over to the person on their doorstep. And then that person gets on the phone to their credit card and claims, the item's fake, I need my money back. The item's broken, I need my money back. I opened the box and there was nothing in it, I need my money back. Or the item never arrived. Or the other classic one is, I never made the purchase, I don't know who did, and nothing ever turned up, even though you've got tracking to prove it. That happened to me. That happened to me. Out of all the things that could have been said, what was said is, I didn't make the purchase and I didn't receive it. And I had an actual photo of that person's house and they'd received it. and I kept my money, thankfully. That was the person I told you about, and I found my item being sold by her on Poshmark after this all happened. It was very, very stressful. But chargebacks are another thing. So what can you do? If you're thinking about buying designer goods and you're worried about fakes, I would say personally, it's not that I wouldn't buy from one of these types of retailers, but I would more likely feel comfortable going to an actual proper consignment company. Really good ones are Luxury Promise, which I've bought and sold through. Bagista, Saclab are another great one. There are a few out there that are reputable. There are a few that I really trust, and I would prefer to go through them than I would to go, as tempting as it may be, to go through one of the other companies that I'm kind of referencing. So if you can, go and check out a local consignment. Try and go to one though that's been running a long time, because I've also heard of people who have handed over goods to be sold to consignment companies. The consignment company's gone bust and they've taken your stuff with them. So you've got to be so careful with all of this. Get a contract, if possible. Don't do sale or return. Get them to actually buy the item from you, and then they can go and sell it or do whatever they want with it. That's what I would recommend. And then also when it comes to selling, if you're thinking, yeah, this chargeback thing's a real concern, what can I do about it? So I'm going to do a video in a couple of weeks where I'm showing you loads of bags that I'm selling at the moment, and I've been really torn on what to do with it, because it's easier for me on one hand if I sell them privately, but then at the same time it's not, because if I deal with somebody who does a chargeback, I'm stuffed and I've lost something that's got a really high value to it. So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to use a consignment company, because they have insurance to take care of all of that for me. So if anyone does the dodgy, they're going to handle that for me, and they know what they're doing. So that's what I think I'm going to do. And that's probably one thing I'd say to you, is that if you're watching and you've got a collection and you want to sell stuff, but you're also nervous about this, I would personally go to a consignment company. But as I've said, I wouldn't hand stuff over for sale or return, because if anything happens and you don't get your item back, that would be just as bad as someone doing a chargeback. Only hand stuff over if they're willing to buy them from you. And I think those places are becoming fewer and fewer now, but that's what I would personally do. There are those of you who have told me that you filmed yourself packing stuff up and going to the post office. That probably helps to a certain degree, but I bet if someone phones up their credit card and claims XYZ, it's still going to be very difficult to prove it. I mean, even if you've got that footage, all they have to say is, well, the delivery man opened it and took it. I've had one of you tell me that happened with DHL, where the company posted out the item to you, the weight confirmed the bag was in the box. When the box arrived, it had been opened and there was nothing in it, and you did not get your money back. The retailer was like, no, we've got proof that the item was in the box, based on the weight, based on the checks that were done, and you didn't get your money back. And I felt so sorry for you. I remember it was a Salaron bag that you were telling me that you'd ordered, and this had happened to you. So it does happen. So for that reason, again, I'd use a consignment company. I just feel like in this day and age, with all the scammers around, it's the safest thing to do. If you are a salesperson and you've heard anything in this video and you're like, I've got a story about that, please get in touch. I will put my email address here. I would just love to hear your stories, and if you want a video on it, and of course I will keep your name and where you work private. If you want your story read out as a story time, let me know. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.